Hi guys, today we are going to introduce complex numbers. So what is a complex number? A complex number z is an expression of the form x plus I times y, where x and y are real numbers, and I is a symbol with the property that I squared equals minus 1, or equivalently I equals the square root of minus 1. So we write down z equals x plus I times y. And we say that here z is expressed in Cartesian form. The real number x is the real part of z, and we write x equals real z, and the number y is the imaginary part of z, and we write y equals imaginary z. And two complex numbers are equal if their real parts are equal and their imaginary parts are equal. The set of complex numbers is denoted by C. Let me give you some examples. Say that we have the complex number z equals 1 plus 2 times I. Here its real part is 1 and its imaginary part is 2. Another example, if we have a complex number of the form z equals 1 plus 0 times I, this can be simply written as 1. So any real number x can be thought of as a complex number whose imaginary part is 0. And the complex number x is then said to be purely real. Remember that the real numbers are a subset of the complex numbers. So R is a subset of C. So another example, z equals 0 plus 3i can be written simply as 3 times I. If the real part of a complex number is 0, but the imaginary part is non-zero, then we write the complex number in purely imaginary form. We can also write z equals 0 plus 0i. This is the zero complex number. Okay, let's do some arithmetic with complex numbers. Say that we want to add two complex numbers, the first one being 1 plus 2i, and the second one being minus 4 plus 5i. We add the real parts and we get minus 3, and we add the imaginary parts and we get 7i. What happens if we want to subtract two complex numbers? Okay, let's follow the example. 1 plus 2i minus 4 plus 5i. We eliminate the parentheses, which means that 1 plus 2i plus 4 minus 5i, and finally we get 1 plus 4 equals 5, and 2i minus 5i gives minus 3i. And let's get to multiplication. So we have the same complex numbers, 1 plus 2i times minus 4 plus 5i. We use the distribution law, which is 1 times minus 4 gives minus 4, 1 times 5i gives 5i, 2i times minus 4 gives minus 8i, and 2i times 5i gives plus 10i squared. So what we have here is minus 4 plus 5i minus 8i minus 10, because I squared equals minus 1. And finally, we have minus 14 minus 3i. Now let's try to divide two complex numbers. But before going to a division, I have to show you the complex conjugate of a number. For example, say that we have the complex number a plus bi. Its complex conjugate is a minus bi. Remember that these two signs are opposite. What happens if we multiply these two complex conjugate numbers? So we have a squared, a times a squared, minus abi plus abi, following the distribution law, minus b squared I squared. And what we finally have here is this. These two go away, so a squared plus b squared. Remember that I squared equals minus 1. So this is always the result here. Now, let's divide two complex numbers. 1 plus 2i divided by 3 minus 4i. What we must do here is to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the complex by the complex conjugate of 3 minus 4i. This is 3 plus 4i. So what we have here is 1 plus 2i times 3 plus 4i divided by 3 minus 4i times 3 plus 4i. As we saw before, the denominator is 3 squared plus 4 squared. And we follow the distribution law in the numerator, which is 3 plus 4i plus 6i plus 8i squared, which is 3 plus 4i plus 6i minus 8 over 25. And we finally have minus 5 times 10i divided by 25, and this becomes minus 5 over 25 plus 10i over 25, which is finally minus 1 over 5 plus 2 over 5i. Thank you for watching this video.